wrapped up, don't they? 10 points ahead of Atletico after the weekend. You can only get 1 to 200 on the Catalans winning what would be their 8th league title in 11 seasons. Quite astonishing, but of course it was Lionel Messi, who else, that grabbed all the headlines. La Liga has but one owner, said Sport. A Barca 10 out of 10, 10-point lead. Messi's number 10, a 10 out of 10 performance. And then Messi, La Liga. Messi wraps up the league, Liga in Catalan, meaning to tie something up. Very nice play on words. His stats, more goals than games. Always a good sign, isn't it?
You think?
Yes. 39 goals, 18 assists, most amongst any player in Europe's top 5 leagues. Twitter reaction. I know you always enjoy some Twitter reaction, Craig. Aren't you all bored? Messi, 10 out of 10 every week, and the fact that he was applauded off down there at Seville. Real Betis fans were applauding Messi after his hat-trick. Did any of you receive standing ovations from the opposition fans?
No, but I had standing ovation from my own fans when it went off on a couple of occasions. I mean, like, because it was going off.
Yeah.
Get him off. Get this. It's no surprise, is it?
Yeah.
The Messi stuff. It's at this point where lots of Ronaldo fans get really angry with us because saying you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't be talking about Messi, you wouldn't be talking about Ronaldo for scoring the hat-trick like you talk about Messi.
Oh wait, we did. Didn't we last week?
But we didn't give him enough love.
Oh, okay.
We'd give Messi more love.
Okay.
The thing is, whatever Messi does, and Ronaldo, to be fair, but whatever, as we're talking about Messi today, whatever he does not surprise me. I'm not shocked. Whatever we show today in this show or talk about with Messi, it's not a shock. It's just it's a norm for me to watch that.
Even by his standards, that third goal, Ali, was something special. He coaxed it in, didn't he?
He massaged the ball. Massaged the ball into the net. And the reaction from the Betis players, the Betis goalkeeper, their inability to understand that, my goodness, this can happen and it's happening to us, and there is nothing that we can do about it. And that, I think, is the most impressive thing about Lionel Messi, is that there are things that he does on the field that you simply cannot prepare for, that you cannot account for as an opposition player, and that when you see it, you just simply have to take a step back and say, well, he's too good. He's too good. And that is the truth about Lionel Messi. He's simply too good.
Robbo, I think it was Jorge Valdano who said Messi is Maradona every day. That's the difference. He just does it every day.
Yeah, and the great thing about him, he hasn't got super tricks. He just runs at the space that the side of defenders. If they overcover, he chops it back the other way. He's almost like a park player where he just knows where feet are. He can go past people. It's the sort of performance, again, that you see week in, week out. But he's not just a goal scorer. He's not just somebody who can run with the ball. When I've seen him this season, he's also been the best passer in the world. You know, and you just mentioned it there, 18 assists. He can pick out players' runs with that left foot. He can also play with the outside of his left foot. He is a magnificent player and has been and will be for quite some time to come, and still the best player in the world.
I'm being reliably informed by our producer that you picked Manchester City over Barcelona in the Champions League final.
I did
last
too.
week. Oh, you did? You both did, yeah?
Stevie didn't.
It's a team game.
Right.
But is it over?
Right.
Has that game been played? Have we missed?
No.
Are both of them in the final and City lost? But I think Stevie Nicholl said it, our colleague. Stevie said he picked Barcelona. If it was to be a Barcelona-City final, and that's a big if, he was kind of 50-50 and he went, Barcelona. Why? Messi.
Right.
And that's how, I mean, it's not overstating it here, it's just how big it is. If Barcelona are having an average day but can defend properly, which can be a big problem for them, if they're having an average day but can defend properly, then if he puts on one of these performances, that's just a game changer. Absolutely.
Robbo, I don't think we've had the pleasure of indulging you in your Champions League predictions just yet. Talk us through your semis and final. Who's going to prevail?
Well, to get to the quarterfinals, I've gone with the favourites, obviously. But I've gone for Juventus against Man City. I think Man City are due a bad game, and I think it's going to come against Juventus. Juventus had their bad game against Atletico Madrid, so I'm going to put Juventus in the final.
Okay.
And on the other side, Barcelona with Messi at his very best to beat Liverpool. And when you get to that final, I mean, it's going to be Ronaldo against Messi, but I just believe this time round it's going to be Juventus' tournament. They've had many goes at it. I just think they're going to come to form at just the right time. They've got good defensive players. They've got to change the system when they need to. They've got a great squad, and they've got Ronaldo, Mandzukic, Dybala, who can all score goals. Juventus to win it.
Interesting. Cristiano Ronaldo's had an interesting
It's hard to argue with that, isn't
few days, isn't it? It is
It's hard to, I
argue.
mean, it could be anything, but it's hard to argue with that assessment.
Right. Well,
But
Ronaldo,
I'll probably be wrong.
Ronaldo, just to tie up the loose ends on him, awaiting punishment from UEFA after that inflammatory, shall we say, celebration after his hat-trick.
Passionate.
Against a passionate celebration. That's one way. I like that way.
Well, it's exactly the same as what Simeone did, I believe. I can't remember. I can remember the Simeone incident. I can't remember the Ronaldo incident, but clearly it's there.
Simeone did not get punishment, so the assumption will be that Cristiano Ronaldo will escape.
Well, otherwise it'll be
punishment.
hell to pay if they don't.
Yeah.
Well, they can they?
Well, I don't know how
They could, but I don't think they will. And
It is Ronaldo, so anything's possible. But
Well, they can't. I mean, you can't have for a similar incident not punish a high-profile manager who was caught in camera doing it.
Yeah,
and a high-profile player who's caught in camera doing it. There can't be one rule for one and one rule for the other.
just to be clear, Simeone was fined.
Which I think is what will happen to Ronaldo.
Yeah. There's some talk about, was it premeditated on Ronaldo's part? Because it wasn't.
Who's doing that?
I don't know how you judge that.
Whoever's talking that should be locked up.
We will find out on Thursday as that
I can't wait.
punishment is handed out.
Well.
Hey, it beats Bate Borisov on a Thursday, let me tell you that. Juventus.
I knew you'd get that in.
Juventus, meanwhile, are second favourites behind Manchester City to win the Champions League in Madrid. Every Friday, we produce Best of the Week for you here on FC. All the bits that made the show and plenty that didn't make the show. The old twiddly fingers from Stephen Paul, part of this week's Best of the Week. This was not Best of the Week where Liverpool were concerned. 2-1 winners against Fulham, but Van Dijk and Alisson getting in a right mess, gifting a goal to Babel, which might well have cost him. Stuart, who was at fault most for this goal, would you say?
Well, Milner starts it off with a bad clearance, obviously, and it goes in behind. Now, Van Dijk's got to deal with the ball. He starts putting his arms up as if he wants the goalkeeper to come. The goalkeeper, Alisson, can never come for that. Now he's got to get a bit more power on the header, so that's the fault from Van Dijk. But when it does go in between Babel and Alisson, you want the goalkeeper to go with his hands. He's in the box, it's a header, so it's not a back pass, he can pick it up. I thought he lacked a bit of bravery there. So a combination of all, but the first person I thought that was at fault the most was Van Dijk.
Let's keep it between Van Dijk and Alisson. Who gets the biggest?
Well, actually, James Milner was come on to solidify the 3 points.
Right.
And then
that was his first contribution.
And then sliced a pass back. But look,
not so solid.
Robbo summarised it brilliantly. You know, when Van Dijk puts his arms out, he's saying to the goalkeeper, "You need to come and get this." And clearly, he could never have come that distance to get it, and it was outside the box. He wouldn't have got there. And to repeat what Robbo said, once he heads it back, he's got to put more power in the header. And to repeat what Robbo said again, the keeper's got to be braver and make a proper decision and go with the hands, because obviously he's headed it back to him so he can pick it up. So there's a bit of fault in everybody, but obviously for me, Milner starting it off put the other two under pressure.
It's a clear combo package of mistakes.
Combo, I like
yes,
the combo.
It's a combo package. But the one guy that could have done something to essentially erase the mistakes of the others would have been Alisson, that if once he decides to come out, he can clean everybody out, clear the ball or grab it with his hands, whatever you want. He does neither. He just kind of stands still and lets the ball play him rather than him playing the ball. I think Alisson, in the end, could have done a whole lot of favors for both Milner and Van Dijk.
Well, the win for Liverpool, but the dry spell continuing for Mo Salah. When you compare what he did last year, of course, last year was such an amazing year for the Egyptian, but his goal production is close to being halved. 20 goals and 8 assists compared to 35 and 10 at the same stage of last year through 31 games. Stuart, how concerned are you with Salah at the moment?
Not that concerned. He's still making the right sort of runs. He's still trying to do the things that we saw him do last year. I think the thing that's just missing in his game at the moment is that final shot, that final pass. He may be lacking a little bit of a sharpness when he goes in 1v1 situations, and maybe he lost a little bit of confidence in front of goal, but it will come back. And the one thing that he has done, he's provided some very good assists. That ball with the outside of his left boot in the game against Bayern was absolutely magnificent. He'll come good again. He'll be scoring more goals from now to the end of the season to put Liverpool in with a chance of winning both the competitions they're involved in.
That graphic we put up, right? This year's stats are great.
Still 20 goals in...
Last year's stats for him are astonishing.
Yeah.
For the Messis and Ronaldos, that's an average season. For him, it's astonishing. I don't have the... I don't have it to hand, but if you go back over the previous few years, you probably want to be at that.
Right.
And so 20 goals...
And that's in 39 Premier League and Champions League games, so it's still better than a goal every other game.
There's strikers around leading clubs in Europe would take that, and he's not a striker. I think the concerning thing, and whenever I talk to Stevie, obviously, who's got Liverpool close to heart and the business end of the season, he's more worried about his performances and his end product than he is about his goals return. But as Robbo said, he's making the runs, he's not hiding. The little things that were really coming off from last year are just not happening for him. The final touch is not there. The final pass at times, although that was a great cross and Munich was a fantastic cross. And like every other player, maybe he's just suffering a little bit of confidence at the moment.
Yeah.
And a couple of goals will bring that back.
I think what was clear that this is a player that is lacking a little bit of confidence was that ball that Sadio Mane placed into the space where he's now on his favorite left foot with everything to shoot at, unable to actually hit the ball cleanly. It kind of tells me, not quite believing in his abilities the way that he has in the past. They're going to need his goals. That's all I know. I don't know whether he's going to score or not, but they're going to need his goals if they're going to keep up with Manchester City.
Well, and that's exactly what they're trying to do in